Alright, tip number 1. We've got the buttons explanation. So in the buttons explanation, I'm going to be teaching you the 4 different buttons on your controller for Soul Calibur. So the first one is the guard button. Unlike Tekken, this game has a guard button. So if you want to move around and start blocking, you will have to pause your movement to then start the blocking action. Which makes it a little bit more different for neutral. The other buttons that you have are your attack buttons. So you have your A. These are your horizontal buttons. What these are good for is stopping your opponent's side steps. They're also typically faster than your other attacks, but the benefit is that you can control your opponent very easily with your horizontals in order to initiate your mix-ups. So secondly, we have your vertical button. These are more linear than your horizontal buttons. Sometimes they have one-sided tracking, but the important thing about verticals is that these are typically where your launchers will come from. So you get the most reward in general for pressing verticals over your horizontals.
Okay, so that would be like freebie?
Yeah, 3B would be one of your best verticals on your B button.
Okay.
And then the last thing is your K button. These are all of your limb attacks. So these can be punches, these can be kicks. The reason why these are good is these generally have better frame data than the rest of the moves. The downside is that they're only as good as your character's body sizes. So if you're playing a small little girl, your kicks might not be as good as, say, Astaroth, who's a giant heap of a man. So that is the big difference here between K, B, A, and G for guard. So in Soul Calibur, everybody has mix-ups in order to open your opponent's guard button. This is key for winning any sort of match where your opponent is defending. Now, in this game you have mids, which are very straightforward. If they duck into a mid, you get hit by the mid. But in this game, in order to stop people from blocking standing in order to defend against the mids, you will need to initiate either a grab or a low. So if you want to use a low, these are really good because they are less risky than, say, your grabs. And the reason why that is because grabs, if you duck them, they are more whip punishable than your tiny little pokes. Because he can say block this move, and it's only minus 14 on block, so he can't do a while standing launcher here. He can only do a small hit like that. The benefit to grabbing your opponent in this game, however, is they can lead to higher damaging attacks. So, for example, this is one of Cassandra's grabs, and you get a little tiny combo off of it. Or, with Cassandra, I could do her other grab, and that will also help her with her character mechanic. The way you break throws in this game is you just guard and you start pressing an attack. It doesn't matter which attack button you're pressing as long as it's an attack button. So if I try to grab King J right now, he did the throw break easily like that. You'll notice in the top left, it says front escape. That is because this is a front grab. If I were to do a back grab like this,
is it the same button?
That would open
the same button?
Guard completely. Yeah, it's the same button, but the key difference here is you have to hold back while pressing a button on your controller.
So that's the mix-up.
That is the mix-up. So I will try my back grab again, and you see he broke it perfectly. One tiny thing to keep note of, though, is when you break a grab, you are 0 on throw break, so both characters have the same advantage, unless I do a command grab. So I'm going to do a command front grab on King J right now, and I will have the initiative over him because I did a command grab, and this is a 6 frame difference, so I will be positive 6, he'll be minus 6.
Positive 6?
Yeah. Big difference. So if you have a command grab character, it's very strong.
Is this with most of the throws, or it varies between the characters?
Every command grab except for one of Ivy's is plus 6 on throw break.
Wow. Okay. Is there a particular reason why it is plus 6? Because plus 6 is quite high.
Funny you say that. It actually got nerfed from plus 8 to plus 6. But the reason why, I guess, is just to make it so that the peak characters that are designed to grapple have an advantage when they are grappling. Because not every character has command grabs.
Ah, okay.
So tip number 3, we have 2 different defensive mechanics that every character can do. We have your reversal edge, which is new to Soul Calibur 6. Basically, if you land one of these moves, you do this rock, paper, scissors minigame. And these are really good to throw out for a couple reasons. So one of them is you get a lot of meter when you're successful with them. And then the second thing is you can block, or defend against, rather, slower mix-ups. Because of the fact that the parry window, you can visually see how long it can be. So if you don't have their timing down and you want to get out of pressure, reversal edge can be a good choice. But the risk you'll run into is you'll be forced to do the rock, paper, scissors. And then the other thing is that you can sidestep reversal edges in this game, which can lead to you getting one punished. So something like that can happen to you if you're too careless with your reversal edges. Whereas a guard impact, these can be a little bit more tricky to whip punish just because they recover a lot faster. The trade-off here though is that you have to be more strict with your timing when you guard impact to your opponent, whereas you can, like the reversal edge, this lasts way longer than a guard impact. But you don't have to do the rock, paper, scissors, so it can be really nice. The other thing about guard impacting is there are 3 different stuns when you guard impact your opponent, which you will also want to be good at recognizing. So you have your, I'm gonna do this string on you. You will want to guard impact the 3rd hit.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't know the timing. Let's go. Ooh, do it one more time.
Yep.
I can't even do it. There we go.
There you go. So you saw that tiny little shrug she did?
Yeah.
Because she did the tiny shrug, you're only positive 8 here. Whereas if I did a tiny poke, I'll just keep mashing pokes here. I fell on my butt, right?
Yeah.
Here you can do bigger moves like launches. And there's also medium-sized moves, which are like, here, I'll just, she kind of like reels her arms back like she's on a roller coaster. These are plus 16. So there's 3 different stuns you have to recognize, and all of them are based on damage values. So the higher damage valued moves, you'll get less frame advantage, whereas if I'm doing a tiny little poke, you'll get more frame advantage.
Oh, okay. So
that's the way it works.
So do you see the lows, yeah? Like this will work with lows as well.
Correct. So I will just match. Oops, sorry. I'll just match this low over and over again. Works on those. The thing that does not work when you do a guard impact or reversal edge, it doesn't matter, is if somebody does a break attack. So this is one of Cassandra's. You'll never be able to guard impact a break attack or reversal edge a break attack. And the way you can tell it's a break attack is it has that blue lightning spike on it.
Okay. Alright, cool.
Alright, tip number 4. The 4th tip I will have is playing to your character's ranges. So, what I mean by this is every character in this game has their own unique weapon. The character I'm using is a tiny sword and a shield. So, ideally, I don't want to be, like, further away, where, like, an Astaroth player would, who has a giant axe. I want to be closer to range because the premise to having a shorter range character is that you'll be faster overall. Whereas the characters with larger ranges will struggle more up close because they are slower. So it's very important to get your spacing right. So if I were to fight Mitsurugi right now, because his katana he's like a mid-range weapon, I kind of want to be closer to him. At the same time though, I could be outside of his range, like at the long range too, and he would be just as useless as I am at the longer ranges. So it's just a little bit to think about so that you can optimize how you play neutral. Alright, so lastly, we're gonna go over the meter mechanics in this game. So if you press A plus B plus K, you just do a super move. Everybody has their own super move. they're pretty straightforward. These are your big damage attacks. They cost 1 full bar meter.
Okay.
Very simple. The other meter mechanics you have is you have your soul charge. So there are 2 ways to get into a soul charge state. You have, while you're holding back, you press the critical edge button again.
Now I'm mad.
And this will burst your opponent off of you too. So like if you were to soul charge right here, this is a way to push me off you. Well, being in a state where you have enhanced moves also. So you can see that you have a limited amount of time in it because now our soul charges are expired. So these are the kind of like things you want to use to kill your opponent in a short burst of time. And these can be more valuable than critical edges, just because of if you're landing a bunch of attacks in succession, you're going to outdamage whatever you would do with the soul charge.
Okay.
So here's like one of Cassandra's moves, for example. You got like an enhanced low mid right there, which can be really, really nice. Or like a move like that to get in.
Okay.
The other way you can get into the soul charge state, which is new to season 2, is a soul attack. So the way you do this is you do a quarter circle forward, or 2-3-6, and then you press the C button. And everybody has their own unique soul attack. The reason why you want to do these over the soul charge is just you can modify your combos to incorporate them, or you can like whiff punish somebody and then pressure off of it.
So how did you do it that way again?
Quarter circle forward, and then you press the C button.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Yeah. Sorry. I was thinking you were saying God, my bad.
No, it's all good. But yeah, that's the alternate way to get in. This is just the aggressive way to perform your soul charges.
Oh, okay. So it's an attack.
Yeah. It's like a rage drive sort of thing, but you go straight into the soul charge state.
That actually looks nice.
Yeah.
Alright.
And then the last thing you can do with your meter is you can do something called a resist impact. You do this by pressing forward and guard and the vertical button at the same time. So basically do the reverse input but forward.
Oh, sorry, whoops, I didn't mean to do
and the reason why this is good is because, like we were saying earlier in the video, if I were to do a lightning move, it would be to guard impact. But if you time the resist impact, you can defend against a move like this.
Alright, let's try. Ooh.
And that will cost half a bar meter. So it's less expensive than the other meter options we were just talking about.
What would be the reason for just like if I tried to block that attack? Would you be like really plus?
Yeah, I would be plus on block if you were to just eat this on block. So you can stop the pressure with a resist impact.
Oh.
And also something cheeky you can do sometimes is if you know your opponent's going to soul charge in your face, you can actually resist impact that.
Really?
If you do it preemptively, you cannot do it on reaction.
Alright,
So like,
let's try.
I'll hit you this move, and then you just press the soul charge.
Okay.
Okay, I'll do it then.
Oh, you're gonna soul charge, okay.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, so you can do something like that too if you're like a genius.
Whoa.
Really hard stuff, but that's the benefit of doing a resist impact.
Alright, cool, man. Well, thank you very much for the beginner tips, man. I really appreciate this, man. We lot can look forward to the next set of tips on the next set of videos from Party Wolf, and go check him out on his socials, man. We're gonna list them up right here. We're gonna be on to the next video. Remember to subscribe, comment, and like, and go check him out on his socials, man. Alright, take it easy, everyone. Peace.
Yep.
Alright, sick.